we're back. This is the Ladies' Take. We have two special guests today, Pastor Alston and Teddy from Atlanta, Georgia, and Chicago, Illinois. We're excited to have them both here today. You guys not hype. You guys not hype. We're excited today. So we're going to get right into it like we do each and every Tuesday. Let's get right into these sports. The Packers. The Bucks. Got Chicago here, the Bulls. Come on.
Don't like the Packers or the Bucks.
I think I need to sell right? Come on out.
Nor the Bulls.
So who do you like?
I'm a Cleveland fan.
Cleveland.
Yeah,
Boo.
I'm a Cleveland fan.
Nah. Are you a Cleveland fan or a LeBron fan?
LeBron fan, Cleveland fan.
You hate LeBron.
Didn't he just sign like the biggest deal in Nike history or something?
Yeah, that's a
like
lifetime deal.
Yeah, I saw
I
that.
need to get on LeBron's team.
You was a LeBron hater. They would be like,
It's not that I don't like him. I just don't like the fact how everybody, puts him on this pedestal and, makes him bigger than what he is. Make his head bigger than what it has to be.
I think his game speaks for itself, but that's why he up there, because his game.
But to say, like, his comment he said the one time, he's the best player in the world. Like, come on now, let the world say you're the best player.
Michael Jordan made a lot of mistakes too, so.
You gotta be confident about himself, though. If you don't believe in you, who will?
Very true.
You're right. But Pastor Alston, don't do my Bucks, the Bucks, I
Well,
like the Bucks.
you all do have one of our hometown favorites, and so we're fine. I'm okay with the Bucks.
You're okay
but
with the
I'm still,
Bucks?
Cleveland.
So you don't like the Bulls?
No, I'm not. I stopped liking.
Years ago when Jordan
Michael
left.
Yeah, when
Michael Jordan left.
Yeah, when Michael Jordan left, I left. So.
I think everybody did.
Yeah. So anytime you treat, the world's greatest player like the way you treated him, no, that's it. I'm done.
Derrick Rose, Jimmy Butler.
That's the dude that always be hurt.
Don't do Derrick
I'm sorry.
Rose.
I think that's the truth.
Don't
That
do
is
Derrick Rose.
That's a fact.
I like Derrick Rose.
I
Don't
like when they together. Yeah.
Leave them alone.
Together. You guys are really hurting my feelings.
Well, I like them when they together.
I like Jimmy Butler and I like, Derrick Rose.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So what about
Well,
the
I'm
Bears?
excited for the game Sunday.
Who?
The Cowboys.
Oh, the Packers.
Yes.
The Packers. I hope they can pull it off.
They will.
Definitely.
Against the Cowgirls? Really?
The Cowgirls, okay.
Yeah.
I hope that can come into play. I really hope so. But you don't like the Bears?
Wait. Are you down the Packers?
No, I'm not down the Packers. I just know, from times before, like, I love the Packers. I'm really hurt now that I found out Aaron Rodgers is engaged. I liked him when I didn't know he was engaged.
All right.
It be like that sometimes.
It's all right. So yeah, it's kind of funny we have that right now. But I hope they can pull it off. But you don't like the Bears?
No, I left them in '85.
Dang, I was one.
Right. That was almost before my time.
When they broke them up, I left them then. So.
Okay. So the Bears is out of the question. The Bulls is out of the question.
All home teams are out of the question.
Well, we
Like
got
the
Atlanta here.
Blackhawks.
I would say we got Atlanta here. The Blackhawks.
Yeah.
Falcons.
No, Blackhawks.
Oh.
I don't know anything
That
about
was worth a
hockey,
try.
but I like them. They're all right.
Right?
I thought you were talking about the Atlanta Hawks. Yeah.
I like Atlanta.
People fair weather fans.
Yeah. But anywho, we're gonna get right into it. We got Pastor Alston here. He's here to talk about his book. He is the pastor of the New Israelite Baptist Church in Chicago. I might move there. My brother lives there, so
That's my second home.
Chicago.
Yes. The other half of my family is there.
Oh.
What part?
Chi-town, West Side.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Outside?
Yeah, South Side. West Side is a different plan.
Okay.
West Side, you'll see guys with gold teeth in their mouth.
Oh wow.
That's the hood. That's
And
the
women
hood
with
thing.
still rocking what they call them, buns, high buns and all that stuff.
What's wrong with a high bud?
Nah, not the one. Those.
No.
I'm
Sound like
talking
Milwaukee.
about the old ones.
So yeah, so
Freeze curls and all that stuff.
what's freeze curls?
Yeah.
Well,
that's-
put the microwave, turn on for like 10 minutes, and the whole house smelling like burnt hair.
Freeze curls. I'm confused.
Yeah, with the rollers, the ring,
An activator.
I don't know anything about it.
Well, of course she's not gonna know anything about it. She's from
My
Atlanta.
sister used to do it. Guilty.
So yeah, so we're gonna.
Don't judge me.
Don't judge you, okay? No judging. Okay. So yeah, so we're gonna get right into it. Pastor Alston has a great book that's about to come out. Ladies, let's talk. Ladies, let's talk.
Yeah,
So.
Ladies, let's talk relationship, real talk from a man's point of view.
Ooh, that sounds
Can you
interesting.
say that one more time?
One more time.
Ladies, let's talk relationship, real talk from a man's point of view.
Tell
From a
me
man's
more.
point of view.
From a man's point of view.
So what inspired you?
What would inspire me is that I started blogging. I did some counseling sessions with different females from different walks of life, divorce, everything you can name in between, single, everything you name in between. And so I started posting some lessons behind those conversations, you know. And it started with like 10 women, and next thing I know, it grew to like 115, 120.
Oh, wow.
And so at that time, the Lord kind of just moved me to just put it in a book, you know, because I had took a couple of days off, maybe a couple of weeks, and my inbox was filled. Like, oh, come on, give us more, give us more. And so I decided to just put it, Lord moved me to put it in a book. So put it in a book, and just the feedback on it has been just phenomenal. So.
That's great. Awesome.
So can you tell us a little bit about the book?
Well, the book is about is comprised of 20 conversations that I had with real women. Only probably maybe one conversation is an indirect conversation, but the rest of them were one-on-one conversations that I had. And in those conversations, it was on relationship. You know, like one of them I spoke of. I wrote about is one called "Ladies Keep Your High Heels On," an elevated view. And it talks about a young lady that I know by the name of Pam. Pam is a very jokester, you know, very comedic like. So she told me one day, I saw her and she told me that she had just quit her boyfriend. This guy
Cut him off.
Yeah, she said she was done with him, and you know. And then I said, for what? Because you know she was saying this was her soulmate and all this stuff. So I was wondering why she quit him. And she said, well, he asked me to take my high heels off. And so I just knew it was some form of laughter coming behind that, the punchline. And so she just told me the story about, she said that he called her and asked her to go out. You know, he was going to take her out. And you know, Pam has a love for stilettos, so 5 inches or better. And
I'm going to get there one day.
So she told him, so she dressed herself up real nice. And, you know, he came to pick her up and he opened the door and she gave him that eye-popping presentation, and he was like, wow. But he said, you know, one thing, if we're gonna go out tonight, I need you to take your high heels off because, you know, you're taller than me and I'm short. And so she told him no, and you know, I just say this, that request ended the night and the relationship.
Really?
Wow.
And so I transitioned and I just talk about that situation, but the whole issue is more about, not so much about high heels as it is standards. That you should never lower your standards as a woman just to be with a man. You know?
Right.
And that a man should feel secure in who he is when he meets you.
Absolutely.
And that it should never be that you have to lower yourself or your values just so that you can have a male species in your life.
I think sometimes women do that.
Quite often.
A lot.
Quite
I do
often.
it, you know, I've done
Absolutely.
it sometimes, you know.
So I just tell ladies, keep your high heels on. You know, keep your
What if you don't wear high heels?
Keep
them
them
Nikes on. Whatever you like to rock. If you like to rock Nikes,
wedges,
Keep
you
your
know.
wedges on your
Keep them
flat.
What's another lesson that
Keep
women
them
can
flip-flops
take
on.
from your book?
Right.
It's so many. I'll say this: you're gonna find yourself in a book.
Okay.
I mean, you're definitely gonna find yourself. When you read it, you're gonna be like, oh, that's me.
That's me.
I have one that's very interesting called Maria's Misguided Measurements, subtopic, the vagina monologue. And
Vagina monologue.
and it's about a friend of mine named Maria who measured all her relationships based on her vagina.
Wow.
You know, and so she was in a bad relationship and she couldn't get out of it because the sex was good. And so
That's some vagina she got there.
and so the problem with Maria is
prayers.
exactly. So the problem with Maria is that she was allowing her vagina to have a one-way conversation with her.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just, you know, I see that quite often in my counseling sessions. You know, I'm like, why you not up? Why you? Well, you know, he's good in bed. You know, and so you know, it's a great book. I guarantee you, when you read it, it's gonna blow your mind.
I'm curious to see who I'm going
Right?
to
Me too.
I had when I was writing the book, I put together what I call my guinea pig group, and it was comprised of probably about, like, I think 7 women, and that I would just read these chapters off to them as I wrote them, and they had to give me great. If it wasn't great, I wouldn't put it in the book.
Okay.
And so all of them who read the book, they were just like, they would hear the chapter, they were like, oh my God, she's talking about me, that's great. You know, and so it was a great experience writing the book. And when I sent it into the publisher, he sends it out to his constituents across, you know, the United States. And he said, he came back, he said, you know, something unusual happened with the book. And I said, what happened? He said, well, he always get the manuscript back, and someone said, well, it's good, but
Yeah.
he said he got no bad remarks, and they said, man, get
Oh,
this guy.
awesome.
So, you know,
Wow.
it's an awesome book. You know,
So did it take you some time to, like, find the right publisher?
This publisher came recommended.
Okay.
And so I sent it out to a couple publishers, but he came back. He was very reasonable, and you know, he kind of fit what I was looking for. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Are you sure you're not in the book, like some ladies that you used to talk to, or you know?
Well, I am in the book.
Okay.
A couple experiences I had one. It's one called "Are You Dateable or Mateable?" And real story about a date I went on. I just knew for a fact that that little midget that's dressed like the devil was gonna come out and say I'm on hell date. Because this is the crazy experience I ever had, you know. And I just talk about, you know, being dateable. You know, women who are dateable is that they have the external features all in place, you know. But being mateable is a whole different story, because it requires your character on the inside, you know. And so what I'm seeing now is that there are a lot of women who are dateable. You look at them, they have the right aesthetics, but inside, you know, their character and their heart's not right. So, yeah, that's what happened. You know, I went on a date with a young lady who was dateable, very
mateable.
beautiful, but she wasn't mateable at all.
Can't bring her home.
I have a question. What do you think women get most wrong most often about men? Or their perspectives, or their point of view?
That they think like.
What do we get wrong?
that you all get wrong that we think like you all think.
Oh.
And that y'all should understand what we
Yes.
say.
Exactly.
Y'all supposed to be hungry.
Exactly.
Y'all supposed to know before we even say it. Y'all supposed to be right there like a genie. Like,
So how do you not understand?
It takes a minute.
but the thing
We have
is,
to study your
sometimes
A breakup.
right, you already know what we gonna ask for, so why don't you already have it planned out? Like,
Well, I think the problem with us sometimes is that I think men and women be in two different places. Yeah, we be in two different places, two different stratospheres, and you know, sometimes you have to make sure that the planet's in line. You know, that you all are on the same level and in the same place, because if not, you know, she could be talking marriage and he's talking about, no, I just want to jump off today. So
that is.
And I'm like, you know, I'm still single.
Oh, I'm
I'm
very
getting up there in age, and I'm confused. Like,
well, I'll be honest, it's difficult out here. You know, it's very difficult out here on you know, with men and women. See the challenge with women. Just say you meet.
Can I say something real quick?
Mhm.
Like, okay, like for instance, like, God made all these special men. So last week I was sitting at my grandparents' house and I was like, hello, Lord, I'm your daughter. You know, do you want me to be single for the rest of my life? Like, you made all these men in your image. Like, what's going on?
God does not want you to be single, but I do think sometimes you have to go through your own. We were talking about this last night at my grandmother's house too. I think sometimes you have to go through your own journey before God can put someone in your life.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to.
I'm tired of going through this journey.
Yeah, but you might not.
But you have to.
You might
You
not.
may not be
you're-
prepared.
You're not gonna be ready for what you're
You
asking
still don't
for.
like to cook.
Well, hey, maybe he can cook.
Well, maybe.
Or
Is
can
something wrong with that, Pastor? Is something wrong with that?
I'm leaving that one alone.
I think you have to prepare for what you're looking for.
I can cook a roast. You know,
Sometimes you don't
I
eat
know.
roast every week.
Well, I don't even think you have to always cook, but there might be something that you have to learn in this stage.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people get married and have kids, and maybe they want to go out and go to the basketball game like you can go, and they can't do that. So just enjoy the season.
I'm sick of this season. It's boring.
But
It
you know,
is,
one
but
of
it's
the
timing
things-
is everything.
Timing is everything.
Yeah, one of the things I've discovered in my personal life is that sometimes you think you're somewhere where you're really not.
Mhm.
And I think that the best time that you can have is time by yourself. Because that's the time you get to know yourself.
It's kind of
You
boring.
know, yeah, it's boring, but I mean, but it has its advantage.
You'd
you know.
rather be
Look
bored
at
than
it
in the
and
wrong
reflect.
relationship,
I
crying.
had the wrong relationship, but I cried many nights.
Yeah,
So
so what was
Bored or crying?
Do I want to cry or do I want to be bored? I'm confused.
Okay, so you want to be
bored.
crying?
I will be bored. I will watch every episode of all of the shows I haven't had a chance to watch.
You want to cry with the wrong
Being Mary
person?
Jane.
I watch Being Mary Jane.
She always messing up.
Hey, shout out for her doing the that home HIV test.
Oh
That was
yeah,
a
we
good
gotta get back
idea.
on that subject. Yes.
It's crazy. But yeah, so.
When can we expect your book?
It's due out. The release date is scheduled for December 30th. You can order it on Amazon or Barnes and Noble.
Bring in the new year reading.
Last week I talked about me
No,
loving to
Kendall.
read. So will this be on like a digital copy?
Yeah,
Like
you get
with
on
No,
digital.
it's not gonna be on the copies. It's
Oh.
not gonna be on the sites that you be on. It's not gonna be on the site.
It is.
Pastor, you wanna know what site she
No,
on?
I think I passed on that.
It's Amazon. You know Amazon
She
has a
has
lot of
crazy
urban
sites,
fiction
Pastor.
books. I love everything.
She
So.
be on.
Don't tell
Don't
her
tell her.
secret.
She's telling all my
Uh-oh.
So
So
backyard.com.
Wait. This is not your
She love her
confession.
books. She's gonna get a book. We're all gonna get a book.
I'll let you all
I'm
know.
definitely
read
getting a
this.
book.
I'll
I
let
need
you
some
guys get it.
insight.
So you're very
It's,
excited.
like I said, it's a
What-
great book. I
What
think it's a
character
great
will you
read.
be?
I'm gonna be the one to hear the book at the end. Living
To
happily
find true
ever after.
love. Like,
You have happily
I
ever
think
after, right?
one of the characters I can say that you all will relate to, and don't take this offense. You been in a relationship?
I have
Okay. How long?
one lasted several years.
Okay.
One lasted my youth.
I'm about to be married.
Huh?
I'm about to be married.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Just give me hope.
before then.
Before then, 7 years.
Okay.
5 months.
I'm still trying to count. My last one was like a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think
That's
the
like
one
a year and a half.
that you all will relate to based on the tenure in your relationships you've been in is one called Jocelyn's Lifestyle Choice, a jumbo jump off. You know, and I read that
Are you
chapter.
calling us jump off?
Wait, I want to hear this.
Well, I read that chapter to someone because I had a friend. I met a friend for lunch one day, and we were best friends growing up in grammar school. And she asked me a question one day. We said at lunch, she said, "Do you think I'm gonna jump off?" I mean, I'm paralyzed. Like, why would you ask me that? You know, and then she was like, "Cause my best friend called me, asked me when I'm gonna stop being a jump off."
Wow.
And so my understanding of a jump off was based on, what we know from an urban perspective. But listening to what she said and understand, I come to discover that more women are jump offs than they know of. So,
Tell us
Can you
more
tell
about
us
what
a
you
little bit
mean.
about that? I'm confused.
well, I give you a brief, insight into
Right, let me understand.
I don't want to be a jump
to
off.
some that you may be a jump off. I mean, don't take it. I mean, I read this to someone today, and they were like, "Oh, I am a jump off. I've been a jump off." So, but it's not. It's something just part of relationship. Let me see.
I'm scared.
I know. I think as women
I
sometimes.
don't really want to be a jump off.
No, definitely. Definitely don't want to be a jump. I think sometimes as women, we make exceptions sometimes.
We
To be
settle.
a jump off?
Not to be the jump off, but I'm saying in a relationship,
We
you know, you'll say, I'm
We
not
do settle
going
that.
We may
don't
take
do
our high
this,
heels
right, I'm not
off.
going to do this, I'm not going to do that, and then here he goes and does it, you don't do it, you don't hold to your
I'm
word.
going to have my heels glued. My heels are going to be glued to my...
You gotta learn how to walk in them first. See?
I'm
You
learning,
walking around
baby,
like a baby
now. Look.
calf.
Well, you said high heels, Nikes, you know. I'm
Flip
learning though. Get some high heels one
flops.
day.
Them little beauty supply store flip flops.
Okay,
Don't take them off, girl.
I mean, and think about the book. The book is a very easy read. You know, it's not long chapters. It's like straight to the point. I can read one if you want me to. This
Yeah,
is called,
Sure, go ahead.
This is the jump off?
yeah, Jocelyn's lifestyle
Okay,
choice.
I'm
The
scared.
jump off. Jocelyn and my friendship dates back to elementary school where we first met and have been friends ever since. Over time, we lost contact with each other, but our verbal and physical disconnect never disconnected our friendship and love that we have for each other. One day while out shopping, I happened to run into her. We embraced, exchanged numbers, and set up a lunch date where we could sit down and catch up with each other. Sitting down at a local restaurant, our reunion was nothing less than spectacular. We reminisced over everything ranging from our days of elementary school all the way to high school. But then all of a sudden the conversation shifted when she looked into my eyes and asked the question, "Shanir, do you think I am a jump off?" Now at the moment when she asked that question, I felt like everything from time to the appetizer in my throat froze. Sitting there with a look of bewilderment carved upon my face, I immediately and prematurely answered with a resounding no. Then I asked her, "Why would you ask me something like that?" Jocelyn stated that a few days ago, she and her best friend got into an argument because her best friend said to her, "When are you going to stop being Brandon's jump-off girl?" Jocelyn and Brandon had been dating on and off for the past 7.5 years. Listening to her explain this on and off relationship, I had to reevaluate my answer
That's why I said my youth.
and come to the conclusion that Jocelyn was acting like Brandon's jump-off girl. I could not see this at first because my understanding of a jump-off was contextualized to the idea of a woman being a one-night stand and or a booty call.
I am never a one-night stand or a booty call.
With the opposite sex are always limited to private sexual use void of public acknowledgement and interaction. This reevaluation of my understanding of what a jump-off is not only revolutionized my understanding, but it also helped Jocelyn come to the conclusion that she had to make a choice to no longer live as a jump-off. Ladies, let's talk. Jocelyn was jumbled on the idea of her being a jump-off, primarily because she understood it from an urbanized elucidation and not a technical one. Technically, the word jump-off means a point of departure or the start of such a departure. It is a place or person that is used as a starting point into something or someone else. And if the truth be told, some of you ladies are moonlighting as jump-offs and you do not even realize it. Your non-realization of it is fostered out of the fact that your understanding of a jump-off is from an urban perspective and not a technical one. Well, let me give you a few ideas of what a jump-off is from both a technical and urban perspective.
Wow. Wow.
One, if all you are getting out of the relationship are both the ejaculatory remains of sin and semen, you are a jump-off. If you are in a relationship where there's no talk of marriage or righteous and progressive living, you are a jump-off. If you are constantly taking a man back into your life who finds it necessary to cheat on you at any given moment,
Dang, I'm
you
a
are
jump-off? Oh my God.
If the only time that he finds pleasure in the relationship with you
I have been a
is when you
jump-off.
are being asked to give pleasure to his external organ, penis, you are a jump-off. If you are taking care of a man and he is doing nothing for you but provide an open hand to all you give, you are a jump-off. If the only calls you receive from a man are the ones labeled booty, you are a jump-off. If nocturnal hours are the only time that
I'm
you
not
can
a
be
jump-off.
seen with the man that you are intimate with, you are a jump-off.
Wow.
If you do not exist to his family and or friends, you are a jump-off.
Oh my God.
If your relationship goals are not only different from his, but constantly clashing with his, you are a jump-off. If the feelings that you are constantly receiving from a man who claims to love you are those of loneliness, rejection, stress, and depression, you are a jump-off. If you are a mistress, second, third, fourth, or fifth girlfriend,
Pastor, you're
you are a
hurting me.
jump-off.
We're
If
just
you are-
Pastor, we're gonna give some of these people something to look forward to.
Okay, that's
I
what
I don't relate to Jocelyn.
I don't want to be a jump off, Jocelyn. I don't
Walk
want
past
to be
me.
a jump off anymore.
I mean, seriously, if you really think about
My old
Yes.
self.
it. Right.
Yes.
I'm saying some part of you will relate to
Yes.
being a
Yeah.
jump-off.
I used to be a jump off.
There it is.
No, I'm telling the truth. I think I'm probably, in there with Jocelyn a little bit. But, we're not even know that. But, Pastor Alston, how do you think this is going to work, Do you think you're going to be like the next Steve Harvey? With
No, I'm
relationship
next
book?
me.
The next you?
I know that's
I
right.
like that.
Have your own identity.
Yeah, so, well, Pastor, we're going to leave some of this book to everyone's
Plenty
imagination
more,
and
yeah.
make them wait until the 30th so they can get their copy
Go
at
get their
Amazon,
copy.
Barnes & Noble. So, we're going to leave it at that. So we want to thank Pastor Alston for coming, talking about his book. We can't
Thank
wait
you.
until it hits stores and Amazon. It's going to, it's going to sell out. It's going to be on that best sellers list,
That's right.
And I'm going to be next to him taking pictures like that. Pastor, don't forget about me, Pastor. So until the next time.
Don't be a jump off.
See you later. All
Don't be
right,
a jump off.
Jocelyn.